session 4 of creation. In this reflection, I want to look at the fact that the Bible is not a science textbook, but where it interacts with science, it is accurate. Now, a basic principle of science is that there are 5 categories, where there is knowledge. These categories are time, force, action, space, and matter. The interesting thing is that the opening verse of the Bible goes like this: in the beginning, time, God, force, in this case a personal force, created, action, the heavens, space, and the earth, matter. But if we look at scientific understandings through time, it becomes clear that the Bible is actually ahead of this knowledge. And I'll start with water. Up till about the 14th or 15th century, it was believed that water was stored underground in great reservoirs, and that's where the world's water came from. Today, of course, we understand the water cycle. Rain falls, it waters the earth, rivers take the runoff to the sea, evaporation takes it up to the sky, to clouds, and again it will fall as rain, the water cycle. This cycle is actually described in various parts of Scripture. Isaiah 55:10, as the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth. Psalm 135:7, he makes clouds rise from the ends of the earth. So there's the evaporation forming clouds. And then Job 26:8, he wraps up the water in his clouds, yet the clouds do not burst under their weight. Then we look at the stars. By the time of Galileo, the astronomers were saying there was somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 stars in the sky. Well, once we got the Hubble telescope, we realised that there's just no way that we can count them. Jeremiah 33:22, I'll make the descendants of David my servant and the Levites who minister before me as countless as the stars in the sky. We know today too that stars are not all the same. There are quasars and pulsars and all sorts of ones. 1 Corinthians 15:41, the sun has one kind of splendour, the moon has another, and stars another, and star differs from star in splendour. We read in Psalm 19 too about the glory of the heavens, and it says, talking about the stars, they have no speech, they use no words, no sound is heard from them, yet their voice goes out into all the earth. Well, today we've discovered that with the radio telescope we can hear the stars chattering away. Human ear can't hear them. To us there's no words, no speech, and yet their sound is going out into all the earth. The moon, it wasn't until the 17th century that people discovered the moon doesn't have light of its own. Job 25:5, if even the moon is not bright, and other versions say does not shine. We know that the earth has to be perfectly balanced as it spins around, otherwise it would be impossible to live on. Psalm 104:5, he set the earth on its foundations, it cannot be moved. Isaiah 40:12, who has held the dust of the earth in a basket, or weighed the mountains on scales and the hills in a balance? There's perfect weight, keeping the earth smoothly turning. The earth is round. It's a relatively recent discovery. Isaiah 40:22, he sits enthroned above the circle of the earth. So the Bible does not set out to be a science textbook. It's not there to teach us how the universe works. But the constant references through Scripture show us that the author has accurate knowledge of how the universe works. And of course he should. He is the creator of it.
Who can know the mind of our Creator? Who can speak of wonders yet unseen? Who can reach the height of understanding, to play the notes of wisdom's melody? Who has weighed the dust of every mountain? Who stand in awe of you. I stand in awe of you. So glorious and true. I stand in awe. I stand in awe. You have seen the end from the beginning. You have been before the world began. You have reached to me within the darkness and in the